My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire Modded, where we are going to be rotating the mod list and including and playing a new character mod. The character mod in particular will be Bard by Kiot. I never really got confirmation on exactly how to pronounce that. In fact, I think I was specifically told, pronounce it any way you like, so Kiot. The credits go for testing to Reyna, Greenius, Blank the Evil, and Skyson, and it adds a new playable character to Bard. We will get more into what that entails as we continue, and Hubris, of course, being Kiot's kind of like content expansion mod. I just read that off the screen. I was going to say kitchen sink mod, adding cards, relics, events, and monsters. Since they are both by the same author, I figure it's probably right to cycle into both of them at the same time. At the same time, we also have base mod, SES lib, always whale, colored map, relic sorter, and unknown chances that we always run, just as kind of quality of life mods. So, standard, Bard. Bard, 70 HP and 99 gold. The last member of the Spire troop creates magic out of music. It also is really important to note that it does fit with the formatting of the game so far, wherein there's a warrior class, a rogue class, a wizard, and then a bard, right? It's the interpretation of a different standard RPG class through the mechanics of Slay the Spire. These two starting relics are Pitch Pipe. At the start of combat, cue a... I don't remember the name of that note. Ooh. Cue one of those. Queuing a note puts it at the end of your note queue. If your note queue is full, the leftmost note is removed to make room. This does not function, as you might expect, similarly to orbs. We'll see that as we go in. Bagpipes. Each card you play may also queue notes. The notes queued depend on the type of card played and are shown in the card's tooltips. And the notes include 4. There's the red, blue, green, and orange. You know what? Red, blue, green, and orange is what I'm going to say, because otherwise I'm just going to constantly get it wrong. And it's going to be confusing. Let's launch in. Ooh, look at that animation. Whoo! Loving it. Alright, another try. More than happy to lose all gold for a random rare relic. Yes. Let's have a quick look at the base deck. Okay, so the first thing you'll probably note is the notes above each of the cards. Right, so aggressive cards tend to give you red, defensive cards tend to give you blue, aggressive defensive cards give you red and blue, effect cards tend to give you green, and this also introduces a new mechanic, Inspiration. Inspiration increases the damage and block of the next card played by a percentage, and it stacks additively. I mean, I could upgrade a card and we could get Inspire to be Inspire 2, or rather Exhaustive 2, so I get to play it twice, but also the Inspiration goes up. Riposte upgrades. Okay, so this is Iron Wave, right? Neat. Let's go for the rare relic. Oh, Fossilized Helix. Prevent the first time you lose HP each combat. Probably one of the best rare relics in the entire video game. Alright, let's start here. So, this is the most important thing, the melodies. So over here on the left, you can see what sequence of notes will cause each of these melodies to be available to you. And then the note queue holds up to 4 notes, and I click the note queue to perform a melody based on the current note queue. Performing a melody consumes its notes. So for instance, damage requires orange and red, and block requires blue and green, in that order in particular. So if I have orange, red, blue, and green in that order in my note queue, I can cast both damage small and block small. There's damage small, medium, large, block small, medium, large, attack up, which is gain 1 strength, defense up, gain 1 dex. Actually, all of these give you the numbers as well. So 5 damage to all enemies, 10 damage to all enemies, 18 to all enemies, 4, 8, and 15 block. Gain 1 strength, gain 1 dex, gain 2 inspiration 50, so that will affect your next 2 cards rather than being 1 inspiration 100. Inspire large is 2 inspiration 100. Weaken, 1 weak to all enemies, vulnerability, 1 vulnerability to all enemies. Draw is draw 3, not just draw 1. Artifact is gain 1 artifact, and Divine Protection is gain 8 temporary HP. Savvy. So as we typically do when we start playing a new class. Ooh, if I inspire a strike, I can actually single hit the frontliner here. And then I can do 2 attacks in a row in order to get an attack up here. That sounds good. So I'll inspire, kill, attack. Then I will play attack up. Beautiful. So as per the standard, get another attack up. I'm going to be making sure that the first time I encounter a new card for this character, I will always read it. Afterwards, not going to be reading it out. It will be shown on the screen. So they don't typically have passive effects. I don't know if there is anything that makes them have passive effects. Okay, so first off, quick song. Gain 8 block, discard a card. Cue notes as if the card were played. Upgrades to be 0. So 0 mana, 8 block, discard a card. I probably wouldn't be super into that. I mean, I guess you can just play it at the end of your turn. So 0 mana, 8 block is, it's fine, I guess. But in particular, queuing the notes as if the card was played can be really impactful. Silence. Debuffs tend to have orange as their effect, by the way. Enemies cannot debuff you for 3 turns, and it upgrades to be enemies cannot buff itself or debuff you for 3 turns. That's really interesting. There are certain bosses that buff themselves, and elites as well, right? That buff themselves on turn 1 and then go for you, and you can just stop that from happening. Who's our boss here on the first floor? Yeah, you don't buff yourself, so we don't necessarily have to take that right now. Feast on Fear, gain 8 block. If the enemy is vulnerable, gain 6 temporary HP instead. Sorry, 6 and 6. And then it upgrades to be 8 and 8. That makes sense. Alright, so do I have the ability to make my enemy vulnerable? Not particularly easily right now. I'll take Silence, sure. It's good for elites, at least. Ooh, upgrade to random cards. Strike and defend. It's fine, I guess. I could remove a Regret in a couple spaces' time. Sure. Alright. Unfortunately, inspiring and attacking is not going to be a great idea here. I'm going to inspire, attack the backliner. Attack the frontliner. Get my attack up. Then defend. Ooh, that's interesting. Is that... What? Your defense only upgrade by 2? So that's atypical. Normal characters upgrade 5 to 8 on their defense. That's really weird. This is the only time I've seen a character actually significantly alter the upgrade path for what are considered standard cards by the game. That could punk a lot of people, right? Because you're expecting it to upgrade to 8. You take that as a granted. Alright, let's block here. Okay. Well, I've just got the kill. Don't need to mess around here. Parry. Gain 7 block. Dex affects this card 3 times. Upgrades to affect it 5 times. I mean, that's 12 after just 1 point of Dex. And it helps you gain Dex itself. That's interesting. Prismatic Spray. Add X random attacks of any color into your hand. They cost 0 this turn. And upgrade to cost 0 this combat. That seems hilariously good. And Aphasia. Flame the Dark Truel Saltway Link. Complete strike limits victory Frosted Wake. Aphasia is... how is it actually defined? It's the inability to communicate the words that you're thinking correctly? I think so? I'm not explaining it correctly, but it's a disconnect between your thoughts and your ability to say those words. We'll take Prismatic Shard. And manifests in saying the wrong words, oftentimes, is my understanding of it. Now, here's another thing to look at, right? Powers oftentimes will give you the green note, which can be pretty damn good. Encore doesn't even cue a note, but your next melody is performed twice. Your next 2 melodies are performed twice is particularly interesting as well. Taking a frozen egg really early in the game seems like a good idea. Whenever you cue a red or an orange, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. And it upgrades to reduce its cost. Okay. There's also life drain over here. Deal 8 damage, gain temporary HP for half of the unblocked damage dealt. 12. Neat. So in a deck with vulnerability, this is like attack for 18, gain 9 temporary HP. Consider temporary HP effectively to be block that does not get lost. Right? Stays with you. At least in that combat. Studied Strike deals 8 and deals 1 additional damage for each stack of weak or vulnerability on the enemy and 2 on the upgrade. Encore we've already looked at, Parry we've already looked at, Discordant Voices we've already looked at, and Insight and Panache base cards. I do want to get that Regret out of the deck, but I'm also looking at this this Frozen Egg right now. I probably shouldn't be looking at the Frozen Egg right now. I'll take Sling of Courage so that I can try and hunt elites here. 2 extra strength at the start of combat is pretty damn good. Okay. Ideally, I want to make sure that I block the sentry here. Casting damage medium would be really good, but I only have silence in order to get an orange note, so it's a little bit difficult for me to do. I suspect I want to go defend, get my defense up, and then just attack an enemy. I'm very likely to also go for the explosive potion at some point in time. So now I've got a red and a blue following. There's no combination here that has red and blue following, so now I just want to focus on, okay, what combination starts with blue? I don't have the ability to get that many greens. I need... If anyone is familiar with music enough, and also, by the way, I hate to say so, but either Australian or British, please tell me, because I'm not calling it a 16th note or a full note or all those kinds of things. I'm gonna go with crotchet, quaver, those kinds of things. So if anyone is familiar with the musical notation enough to tell me how I should be saying that, I would much appreciate it. We could get a block small pretty easily. That's about it though right now. All right. Ooh, Prismatic Spray seems like a hilarious idea, huh? Because unless I play both of my defends, I'm not getting anything really out of this turn. Alright. Woohoo! Cleave. Okay. Well, now I have to think about the ordering here, right? In particular, because I would like to cast Damage Large. And I can do that right now. Uppercut, Inspire, and then another attack does it. Uppercut, Inspire, Cleave, and then I'll Damage Large to all enemies. This class is very much... it threads the line between being complicated enough to have all of these kind of nuances that are really interesting to explore, and too complex to the point that you get decision paralysis. It threads that line really, really neatly. I've been enjoying my time with it so far. Mantle of Inspiration, increase the inspiration you gain from cards by 50, so by cards, not from performing melodies. Aphasia again, and Quick Song, we've seen those before. I suspect here I'll take nothing. Right? Yeah, I'll pass. Because ideally, when Prismatic Spray is upgraded, it will have cards cost 0 for the rest of the combat, so I'll want to cycle back into them. So things like draw, things that have kind of like a light impact on the deck in that fashion, they're going to be particularly effective for us. We'll Inspire, defend, just so that I can get a defense up and then attack. So now I'm queued to get another attack up later. Like here. There's our attacker, and then I'll even prismatic. Ooh, Balestra. Deal 7 damage 3 times. This card's damage is affected by dex in addition to strength. Neat. Unfortunately, I can't feed here unless I use explosive potion, but hey, 3 max HP is pretty important. Thick of the Fight. Deal 12 damage to a random enemy for each living enemy. Costs 1 less. That's energy. That's the energy symbol here. For each living enemy, and it upgrades to be 15. That sounds really good for AoE. But it's garbage for everything else. Echo is just 1 attack, and it deals 7 and then 3. So this is 2 different hits, right? So it triggers off of strength twice. The upgrade is 14 damage for 1 energy without a downside. And with pure upside in double attack. Not necessarily pure upside. Obviously, enemies could have thorns or malleable. Inspiring Song. Gain 50 inspiration for each green note you have queued. We're unlikely to do that. I'll take Thick of the Fight. And try and go for another elite here. I don't know if there is a way to get more defense out of this. I think I do just go as aggressive as I possibly can, though. Alright, so we go Strike, Riposte. That gets us an attack up, and then we'll inspire this strike. It also highlights, by the way, what you have access to at this point in time, so I know I have access to a block. 1 more attack, and I have access to another... Prismatic Spray is most likely going to get me an attack. Yep. Oh, Blizzard! Ugh! Lingering Echo. Deal 12 damage. The next card you play this turn remains in your hand. I mean, Mind Blast will be better in the next hand, I guess, than this one. I'll take my attack up, thank you. Then I'm going to Lingering Echo the Mind Blast. I guess I could play it again. Just right now. It doesn't stay in your hand at the end of the turn. It doesn't gain Retain. It just stays in your hand. I almost horribly misplayed that. Neat. Blood Vial at the start of combat, heal for 2 HP, as well as Greatness, gain Inspiration 75, upgrades to 100. Wow. So this is the value that the game places on this. 1 energy and an uncommon card upgraded gets you Inspiration 100. So does the damage and block that is increased by Inspiration stay on that card? Does that card get modified by that? If I cycle back to that card, does it still have the effect? I suspect so. Otherwise, this is worse than just drafting another attack, right? Well, it depends on what it affects, I guess. First Strike. This is interesting as well. A startup effect. Deal 8 damage, and on startup, deal 8 damage to all enemies. I could just draft a bunch of those and try and have all enemies die as soon as I enter the fight. Balestra, we already saw in the previous combat. Deal 5 damage 3 times. The card's damage is increased by dex as well as strength, and upgrades to be 5/4. 5/4, so 20 to a single target. In 4 different hits. I guess one of the reasons Balestra is a little bit better here is just because I have the Sling of Courage. It's also worth noting that we did pick up the Old Nail. The Old Nail on the third act is going to give me the ability to double all of the damage from my attack cards, as long as I remove 2 upgraded cards from my deck and pay, I think, 200 gold. So I've got to think about that, right? If I suspect that the only thing that's going to be holding me back is my inability to deal enough damage to the final boss, but I can get to the final boss, then I actually already have a solution to that available. I'm going to take First Strike, because I suspect that It will dilute my deck, but taking enough first strikes is going to be so important for AoE combats. Jutsu Bracelet, normal enemy encounters, and normal encounter in question mark rooms. Great. So Prismatic Spray gets the upgrade exclusively due to the fact that I want it before the slime. So that means I probably shouldn't have upgraded that there, actually. First strike hits everyone, and then thick of the fight. 6 for time, you can queue 2 additional notes. Upgrades to be 8 for time, you can queue 4 additional notes. I always do like it when cards actually upgrade their name rather than just go 6 for time plus, right? There are a couple of different examples of that I've seen. Finger of Death, deal damage equal to twice your temporary HP, and twice your temporary HP to all enemies on the upgrade. So there's a temporary HP archetype that is obviously being supported. We've seen enough cards for that. Discordant Voices, whenever you queue a attack or... Sorry, yeah. Maybe I say attack or debuff, because that is attack and debuff. Right? Green is on buff cards. Blue is on defensive cards, red is on attack cards, and orange is on debuff cards. You know what? I'm just, for the moment, although I still do want that information from anyone who does happen to know it, for the moment, I'll probably just call them attack, defend, buff and debuff. Buff and debuff. 6 full time, the ability to queue additional notes is actually pretty good. But, is it important for us? I suspect not. I'm gonna pass these. Ugh. Unfortunately, we get a shot before a shot. Death Metal! You can no longer queue notes. Whenever you would queue a note, deal 2 damage to all enemies instead. Deal 3 damage to all enemies instead on the upgrade. That's wild. Flash of Steel is really interesting as a way to gain a free note. Accelerando. Gain energy, draw 2 cards. Lose an energy next turn. Upgrades to have retain. But another thing that you want to think about when you're looking at a card is also buff debuff. Is buff debuff something that helps me cast a melody that I really, really want to have out there? I don't know. Songball. Deal 3 damage for each note you have queued and clear your note queue. Neat. Doot. Choose a note to queue. Upgrades to choose 2 notes to queue. And yeah, we've seen the rest of these. I don't want to invalidate one of the core mechanics of the character immediately. Like, that seems like something I'm going to want to do in a couple of runs' time once we're a little bit more familiar with the core mechanics. So maybe I'd just take Doot. Being able to queue a note for free, or 2 notes for free, does have the ability to give you so many great effects. That said, Flash of Steel is really good. I have to. Sorry. Do I really want Life Drain? I don't want Life Drain. Do I want Life Drain? I could go real aggressive with that. Yeah, let's take it. I hate that I had a shop spawn before a shop, but at the very least, I've got a little bit more information now. Vicious Mockery. Yeah, of course. Deal 3 damage and apply 1 weak. I've played many a bard in my time. I think... Crumbs. Have I played more bards than I have rogues now? I've played a lot of tabletop RPGs. Yeah. I suspect I have played more bards and bard-adjacent characters than I have rogues now. Rogues being my previous highest. Tiny Hut. Oh, wait. Whose Tiny Hut is it? It's not Leoman. Dang it. Dang it. I forgot it. Whose Tiny Hut is it? No, this is gonna kill me. I swear I know it. Alright, let's have a look at the other cards that are available here for the moment. Tiny Hut is gain 5 block. Draw 1 card for each unique note you have queued. Ah, okay, so it's kind of like a defensive version of what's it called for the defect? I barely ever use the card, which is why it's so difficult. For every different note you have queued, draw a card. Can't remember. Different orb you have queued, rather. Glyph of Warding. Whenever you lose block or temporary HP, deal 2 damage to all enemies. That seems like that just deals a lot of damage. Because you lose block at the start of your turn anyway. So as long as you block, you're just dealing 4 damage to all enemies every turn. And if they hit you in multiple different instances, forget it. That is really powerful. I am sad that I don't have access to that right now. Obviously, I don't with Prismatic Shard here, though. Cool. We out. First strike almost screwed me here. Ooh, look at that prismatic spray. Dropkick and thunderclap. Hilarious. Inspiration effects on guard twice. Lovely. Unfortunately, thunderclap first isn't great. Because then I can't get the strength up I'm looking for. So while thunderclap dropkick is like an obvious good thing, it also gets in between me and my ability to get attack up. I suspect I don't care about that as much as... Yeah, I suspect I don't care about that enough. Or too much. Thunderclap and then dropkick. So now I have access to damage small if I want to burn off those final two. And then I guess I can just normal attack in order to get it. Yeah, I'll damage small. Then a normal first strike. Now I get my attack up. Then I'll inspire and on guard. Gain 14 block and deal 30 damage. Incredible. We'll use buffer entirely to block the first attack. So we're just going to go really aggressive here. Enemy cannot debuff you for 3 turns. Obviously, that's really good. In particular against this boss. But I suspect I'm not going to need it. Call it a hunch. Molten Egg, whatever you did, attack card to your deck, upgrade it. Okay, we're going real aggressive now. There's Glyph of Warding. Maybe I go so aggressive I don't want Glyph of Warding. I suspect that might be the case. 15. Really powerful, though. It's really powerful. Have to take it. It's going to be incredibly, incredibly important next floor, particularly, but it also can be really good in this fight. 2, get my strength up. Ooh, look at that temp HP. Lovely. Okay, it's got to be... Inspire, strike, first strike, get the attack up. Riposte. Enemies still not split. Lovely. Prismatic Shard could be incredible next turn. Prismatic Spray, sorry. Buckler Bash, lose 5 block. If you do, deal 14 damage. If you do. That's not going to work. Is there any way that I can get a block small here? No, not with what I currently have available. I guess I could try and skill potion, but it's not necessary. I do have a dark, like an orb slot that's invisible right now. It doesn't look like it, but I do. Uh-huh. See? Okay. Thick of the fight is really good here. Glad to see it. Ooh. I can avoid splitting anyone this turn. In fact, no, I can't avoid taking damage, but I can avoid splitting anyone this turn. Should I? I suspect not. Yeah, no, we'll go for the split, thank you. Cleaving Finish. Deal 11 damage. If this kills an enemy, it stays in your hand and costs 0 for the turn. Lovely. Let's Explosive Potion, and then cleave, cleave, strike, cleave, and we're good. And now you can't debuff me. Ha ha. You tried. Got him. Focused. Gain Inspiration X00. Yeah, there's definitely an inspiration sub-theme. That much is pretty obvious. Encore, next melody is performed twice in splendid form. At the start of your turn, gain inspiration 100 or 200 upgraded. That's pretty ridiculous as well. But we're a pretty quick deck. Ideally, at least. I suspect maybe we don't want any of these. But I also do feel a little self-conscious that I'm turning down a lot of cards. Look at our relics and our current deck. We are very much being pushed to go aggressive, and none of those are aggressive in the way that we'd like to be aggressive. Give up gold? That's a problem. Giving up gold is a problem. Old Nail is going to be sad if I do that. Prismatic... the Runic Pyramid is not awful. Although my hand will fill up. Alright, I'm taking Runic Pyramid. My hand is going to overfill. I really need energy after this boss. Okay. I also do want to kind of just hit as many upgrades as possible, so I'm going to dodge this shop going up here for the upgrade. 2 upgrades here, and then I can go up that line. Actually, this... this path has 2 upgrades as well. And a late shop, and then it goes back to an elite. It's got an early shop, and I'm not particularly interested in the early shop, though. Backstab, Pummel, and Endless Agony. Makes sense. We'll backstab, Endless Agony, go for the attack up, and then Pummel. Pretty effective. I suspect we just let the enemy hit us this turn. Just to set myself up for lethal this turn. So, Inspire, think of the fight, single hit kill. Neat. Flourish, choose a note to queue, deal 13 damage. It's really good. Guard point, gains 7 block. If you have no defense queued, gain 7 block again. Cool. That's interesting. That also actually tells us a little bit, right? It tells us that the note is queued after the card is played. Otherwise, guard point would never give you 7 block. We'll take Flourish. Ooh, that counted as an attack on each of them. Neat. Thick of the fight is obviously going to be ridiculous here. Yeah, I'm just going to think of the fight, get my attack up. I'll Inspire, Flash of Steel, Flourish, right? I am going to be riposting this turn, so I guess I don't need to do it with that bird at all. Yeah, I'll Flourish. Oh, number one, it is actually labeling them for me, and I did get them correct. Well, I think I called this one Defend rather than Attack. But there is a problem here. I suspect that this will come before the attack. Oh, but I chose the same one, so I can't tell. Damn. I did that quite poorly, frankly. I'm not gonna let that one buff. Obviously. Lingering Echo. The next card you play remains in your hand. I'm interested to see whether or not that will affect Dramatic Entrance, despite the fact that it is... Ah, it doesn't. Okay, so an Exhaust card doesn't manage to stay in your hand, but it does consume Lingering Echo. Interesting. Interesting. Cutting Words, obviously. A lot of these are pretty recognizable, I have to imagine, to... I'm gonna say, if not half of you, then the vast majority of you. Alright. Cutting words. Apply 2 weak and 2 vulnerable to a random enemy for each. We don't do that. The first attack card you play each turn also applies 1 vulnerable, and it's innate. It's pretty good. It's absolutely gonna kill me. I can't remember whose Tiny Hut it is. Alright, I'm dodging that shop now. Have I ever removed a card at a shop yet? I have. I removed the regret. So that means that the shop has 100 on its removal. So unless I go there and I find an aggressive card, I guess. I don't want it. I want this space so I can get more money, and then I'll just go to a later shop. Greater magic weapon, first strike, that applies vulnerability, and then life drain gives us, oh, just lovely, lovely, lovely temp HP back. Even managed to get a strength up there. Prismatic spray is the only obvious option here. Ooh, clothesline is really helpful. 1, 2. Take our attack up, weaken the enemy. The enemy now doesn't even get past my... Yes! Doesn't even get past my temp HP. If only we had silence earlier, eh? It'd be really good in this fight. I have to defend twice this turn if I really want it. Think of the fight is a good draw there. You know what? I'm just going aggressive. Kill you next turn. That'll do it. Alright. Lingering Echo, Buckler Bash. Buckler Bash, lose 7 block. If you do deal 18. Lose 7 to deal... I guess if your deck is really defensive? I'm not seeing it, though. Feast on Fear. We've seen all of these. Neat. The enemies are going to be vulnerable quite commonly for us, so... Maybe Feast on Fear isn't bad. I don't want to go with the temporary HP strat. Stop defending, Ryan. Go aggressive. I'm just gonna take the wimpy option there. I don't want to get weakened for turn 1 of every single combat. I'm still mad that's an option. Right, greater magic weapon, flash steel to the back line, and then let's go for the life drain. Get ourselves an attack up. This is really good. Explosive potion, now I don't take no damage this turn. Yep. Block and temporary HP blocked us from the first one, and then buffer saved us from the second. Think of the fight is obvious here, right? Ooh, okay, I've got to remember, greater magic weapon means that I want to play AoE cards first. The boot, whenever you would deal 4 or less unblocked attack damage, increase it by 5. Solo, if your note queue contains no notes, perform any medley. It's worth noting, because you have the pitch pipe, you always start with 1. So this is something that you definitely want to play with other things that benefit from it. On guard and parrying, I'll take none of those. A solo death metal deck would be really interesting. Just have to say that. This only upgrades the damage the actual card does rather than the startup damage, so I only really care about that for the startup damage. Life Drain is pretty good. It's like a large amount of our defense right now, actually. Surprisingly large amount. Songbolt, we've seen already. Phantasmal Force, of course. Gain 9 temporary HP if the enemy is weak. It is Leomund's Tiny Hut, isn't it? I said it was, but then I was like, no, it's not. It can't be. I've been thinking about, literally, this has not left my mind since I saw the card. I don't think I saw the card while I was testing, actually. Phantasmal Force. Gain 9 temporary HP if your enemy is weak. Deal damage equal to your temporary HP. Solo, we've seen. Hideous Laughter. Harshes, of course. Apply 2 vulnerable and 2 weak. Discordant Voice. That's Discordant is actually how I was dealing most of my damage with my previous bard, but it was flavored in such a way. Wait, hang on. It wasn't Discordant Voice that I was using, was it? Oh god, I need to remember what Leolof's original set was, because I changed up my build, so I can't necessarily remember it as well as I might like. Apply 1 vulnerable and 1 weak is pretty good. It's also quite thematic. I like a lot of these choices for the names. Yeah, let's just go for a Preserved Insect. Yeah. We're straight up elite hunters right now. Also, something I haven't mentioned so far that I hope you've noticed. The character modifies based on what relics you have. The boot is on our foot. What's that stuffed in our pocket there? I suspect that's another one of the relics, although I can't guarantee. Not all of the relics, I believe, have animations that put them on the character yet. But what is in our pocket there? Can't even see it. Alright. Let's keep on going. Keep on keeping on. And Regal Pillow, whenever you rest, heal an additional 15 HP. And you can see the Regal Pillow is on top of Pitch Pipe. No, not Pitch Pipe. Bagpipe, sorry. Loving it. Alright, Greater Magic Weapon, Strike. I'm not able to defend against that this turn anyway, so. Wait, can I? I can defend against the Mystic this turn, but it's defense, Greater Magic Weapon. I'm gonna do that. That gives me a block small, and then just attack the front line, I guess. Start with Thick of the Fight. So everyone's vulnerable. And then I think I just go like ham with it. Ooh, 9. Oh, okay, so it was 19 and we got 9. So we've got to remember that rounds down. It doesn't round favorably for the character. Got it. Guess I'll just go for that. Makes sense, they got healed. Flourish. I can't just Prismatic Spray here is the thing. Alright, what do I want to flourish into? I guess buff. It's hardest for me to get right now. Yeah, so the buff does come first, and then the flourish's attack comes after that. Neat to know. It's on a neat to know basis. Yeah, that is pretty neat to know. Guess I'm gonna Inspire, Thick, Flourish. Don't really need to get too tricky with that one. We've seen all of these before, so I'm not gonna be reading them. 7 and 7, like upgrading our defense just a little bit so that I can retain my buffer for longer. Buffer being the prevent the first time you would lose HP each combat, just in case you're unfamiliar. That can be pretty important here. It's worth noting, Old Nail is the only Hubris relic I have at the moment, if you consider that these are from Bard, despite the fact they're from the same author. I think Inspire should get upgraded. I think it probably should have been upgraded earlier. It's going to take me a while until I truly understand the nuances of the character. So I beg you, please forgive me my ignorance in the first couple of episodes here, because I promise you there will be ignorance. Alright, I'm going to skill potion here because I don't really like how this looks like it's going. Improv. This turn, for every 6 notes you cue, perform any melody regardless of your note cue. At the end of this turn, clear your note cue. Neat. think we'll Quick Song here. Quick Song discards Silence. Mm-hmm. And then I will Flourish the back line, and I guess I could go for draw. I could queue up a draw. What else could I queue up here? Basically just draw. Yeah, I'll do that. So that would be to get a buff. And then I'm not going to draw this turn, obviously. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if I draw this turn or not this turn, right? Great. Because I retain my draw is why that doesn't matter. I don't want to apply vulnerability to the slaver that's about to die. I don't know my draw order, so I don't have too much that I can do to influence there. I suspect I am about to take damage. Alright, yeah, we'll treat this turn primarily defensively then. Great. Obviously. Obviously we're going to be going for this one. I want more relics just so I can see how they affect my character, frankly. That is legitimately a significant part of why I want to do this. Greater magic weapon, think of the fight. I mean, come on. Two attack up. Beautiful. I can just straight up eat that attack as well, by the way. Just in case you were wondering. Oh my god, and I don't even need to. Oh, Birdface Urn, when we play a power card, heal for 2 HP, and the Sphere of Dissonance. At the start of each combat, apply 3 vulnerable to a random enemy. That's incredible for us. None of these. We've seen them before, though. We can see the previous effect actually exists. Sphere of Dissonance. If you have Juzu Bracelet, and I do have Juzu Bracelet, so we actually have the synergy active as well. If you have Juzu Bracelet, whenever you enter a question mark room, heal for 3 HP. Neat. Putting apparitions in the deck. Apparitions count as buff cards. That gives us 5 copies of buff cards. And I mean, it kind of fits in the deck. But it makes us less aggressive initially. And that's a bit of a problem. That said, as soon as they're upgraded, they retain in our hand until we need them with Runic Pyramid. I don't want to make this deck all about apparitions. Yeah, you can see the Birdface Urn behind us there. One down. One down. I'll take my attacker. We'll leave Thick of the Fight in the hand here, clearly. Take my attack up again. I'm also actually just going to throw out a defend. I don't want my hand to be way too busy. What? Thick of the Fight. Ah, costs 1 less for each energy. I suspect what's happened there is either Thick of the Fight does not count minions, which I don't think is likely, but I think the more likely thing is that it only changes its cost on draw, which is a little unfortunate. Because it should rather cost 0 right now. Thankfully, it doesn't matter. Centennial Puzzle, the first time you lose HP each combat, draw 3 cards, Thick of the Fight again, as well as Power Word Stun if the enemy has less than 50% HP. Stun it for 1 turn. So is it equal to or less than? Because this game, typically, when it talks about HP in formats like this, as in to say 50%, says if your HP is equal to or less than 50%. But this says if the enemy has less than 50%. So I suspect that it is less and only less. But that puts it out of sync with the standard design of effects like this in the base game. Effects like this primarily are on relics in the base game. I don't know. And upgrades to, yeah, 70. Aphasia we've already seen as well. Thick of the Fight we'll take. I'm loving how Thick of the Fight is working. Also, the fact that it queues 2 attacks means it's really easy for me to get strength up. So many options. That's right, all 3 of them. I'm going to upgrade the Silence. Enemy cannot buff itself or debuff you for 3 turns. That's going to be really good against the Collector at one point. Again, I want to leave Thick of the Fight in the hand, but also it's not going to work how I wanted it to. I don't want to play another attack right now. Because I do want to get another strength. Whoa, hang on. No, Thick of the Fight recalculated. Just didn't do it in the other fight? Why not in the other fight? Also, it seems like to a random enemy for each living enemy, it always seems to hit each different enemy for me. I could just be really lucky, but it always seems to hit the spread. Despite what the card says. I'll silence you later. Prismatic Spray now. Maybe I don't silence you later. Yeah, I'm gonna Sever Soul. Deck gets mad aggressive here. And I got a couple free turns. Inspire, Thick of the Fight. Take my attack up. Oh my god. Ooh, this character is real powerful. I mean, we do have broken ass relics from the absolute start. Specifically, Fossilized Helix has saved us so much HP. 52 minutes just casually beating the second boss. This is what happens for the first episode of every new character, right? Because we've got so many different things that we need to go through. Gain 1 intangible, draw 1 more card next turn. Exhaust upgrades to be draw 2 more cards next turn. Greater yeah, of course. Greater invisibility. Isn't there a card also called Greater Invisibility in Mystic? I mean, not that, you know, names can't be shared across. Otherwise, you would have to be aware of every other mod in existence before you ever made one yourself. Sonata. You can perform every possible melody in your note queue at once. And it becomes innate. If we had a longer note queue, and possibly more diversity of notes, in particular, if we had more debuff notes, then that would be particularly good. I suspect that the correct thing here is either to do nothing or to take invisibility. Invisibility would literally just be, I keep it in my hand until a big attack is about to happen. The drawing extra cards doesn't really matter to us, unless we get an energy relic after this boss, and I really hope that we do. I'm gonna take invisibility. No energy relics. Well, I mean, there is an energy relic in Velvet Choker, but... Ooh, I guess that doesn't step on the toes of Prismatic Spray as much as I thought it would. It will occasionally choke us. Like, Inspire, Flash of Steel, Prismatic Spray, try and play all of your attacks and you can't. God forbid, you also have the Thick of Fights going on. But... Hollow Soul, when you die in combat, immediately restart the fight with 20% max HP, regain your original max HP, heal to 50% of your max HP, and recharge the relic if you win the fight. Yeah. It's... I've never understood this as a boss relic. Like, it does give you another chance, and it's... Is it much better than Lizard Tail? Because restart... No, because Lizard Tail helps you persist through the same combat, right? This helps you if you make a mistake in a fight effectively and you think, that on your second attempt for the same fight, you can do better. Which isn't always the case. You would have to do so much better as to be able to win with possibly up to a fifth of the HP you went into the first fight with. It's a large amount of why I don't understand it. Stopwatch is something that I don't understand because I'm dumb. And I've been punked by this. Lose 1 charge. At the end of your turn, immediately start another turn. Energy and block is maintained between these turns, and it starts with 6 charges. I read all of that the first time I tried to use this, and somehow managed to skip usable once per combat. And I was trying to just use all of them in the same combat. It would be broken if you could use all of them in the same combat, by the way. But yeah, we just need the extra energy. So Velvet Choker is going to be a little bit of a problem for us, but yeah, it's fine. So 2 upgraded cards. I can remove a strike and a defend. So yeah, there we are. That's the anvil space. It's exactly the space that I need to go to. Above all others. It's also really early here. Nice. I think the fight is obviously incredible. Yeah, if I kill a minion on the board, I'm fine. Not only that, but another attack up. I'd love to inspire Whirlwind here, but not going to do anything for me at this point. Let's inspire Life Drain. Throw in a dash. And I guess I do leave Whirlwind in my hand. Huh. That'll do. Regen pot. Probably better than Liquid Bronze for us. Study Strike, Echo, Echo, and Harmonious Voice. Harmonious Voice seems to be the counterpart to Discordant. Being whenever you queue a they called it block. Block or buff, gain 1 temporary HP. Not commonly enough for us. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit of a concern for us. So, although it does elucidate a little bit more about mechanics, we'll talk about that in a second. But a little bit of a concern for us is that since it does count as an attack against enemies, I noted this when I fought the birds, right? It also triggers thorns. It's ouch. That could be a problem. It means, like, if you have enough first strikes in the deck, you can get to the third act and just die. Get unlucky and fight a bunch of spikers, that's it, you lose. So I suspect I'm not going to want to draft the amount of first strikes I had previously considered drafting. But also, it's worth noting that that startup effect appears to have occurred before the fossilized helix. Which means it obviously definitely occurs before Sling of Courage. I mean, we already noted that in other fights, right? We only dealt 8 damage on the first turn of elite combats. That's interesting. Gives us a little bit of information there. Right, I'm going to inspire Prismatic Shard just so I have space in hand. I'm going to be taking damage here, but kind of gotta. That was awfully played on my part. Awfully, awfully played. I'm happy to gain intangibility here, obviously. Should have gained attack there. I'm a little bit tilted by how this is going so far, frankly. Hey, there we go. Hey, speed potion, no. First strike again? No, obviously not. Especially because the reforged old nail is not going to affect it for the same reason we just knew. Gamble. Choose an attack type. A card type. Attack skill power, draw 1 card. If it's the chosen type, it costs 0 this turn. What's the balance of our deck? We've 5 attacks, 5 skills, then 6 attacks, 3 skills, 1 power. Yeah, it's too equal. Power is never going to be the selected option on Gamble unless I put something to the top of deck myself. That said, 0 mana draw a card. Has to upgrade to be a cantrip though. Next card you play this turn remains in your hands. That's really good with Flash of Steel and Inspire, but bad with the Velvet Choker for both of those same. I suspect I still take it though. Lose 100 gold and 2 upgraded cards in order to upgrade the old nail. Happy to. Who's our boss at the end of the floor? You don't really debuff us that much. I mean, you do debuff us, but not like giant debuffs is what I mean. So we could get rid of silence here. We're oftentimes not playing it. Neat. So the old nail is reforged and attacks deal double damage. This is a hubris event, by the way. You hand the old smith your old nail.
I see. I can fix this, but I'm going to need some of your arsenal to do it.
You hand him some of what you have and he starts to work.
Clang, clang, clang.
It's not in his voice, but he hammers the nail together with the supplies you gave him. The nail is reforged. Hopefully, hopefully this nailsmith isn't as saddened at the world, I guess, as the other nailsmith. Oh, yes. The fated die. You come across a pedestal with a 20-sided object sitting atop. An inscription on the pedestal reads, Alter Fate. For better or worse, take the runic icosahedron and right-click during combat to activate. Once per combat, you may roll the icosahedron. It is also pocketing the mysterious object. The inexplicable sense that your fate has been twisted washes over you. We're going to roll that at the start of every single combat. Once per combat, you may roll the icosahedron. There are 20 different results. 20-sided die. 14. Gain 1 strength, 1 dex, 1 focus. So results 1 through 9 are negative. 10 is kind of neutral, but it's actually a positive. It allows you to mulligan your hand. Mulligan being discard cards, draw cards. And then results 11 through 20 are good. A 1 or a 20, so a crit fail or a crit success. Nat 1 or Nat 20, whatever you refer to it as, right? Those remove the ability to roll the die and give you either a permanent negative or a permanent positive. But it's worth noting, the positives of the runic icosahedron typically are better than the negatives of the runic icosahedron. And there are more positive results since 10 is quote-unquote neutral, but actually positive. It's important to keep in mind when evaluating that card. I don't really want to inspire this turn, actually. Don't want to block this turn at all either. I'll use the regen potion just so that I have the ability to pick up later potions. No, I'm not talking about Oktoberfest kit that you wear. I was just talking about later potions. Inspire life drain here. My God. Oh, this is so powerful. Look, 92. I'll just gain 46 temporary HP if you don't mind. Why are we dealing this much damage? With double damage from the Puyo Nail, obviously we have 2 strength up. It just seems like we're dealing a lot more damage than I expected to be dealing right now. I'm not going to go through the calculations on it though. Don't look at gifts near horses. Horses get mad if you look at gifts. That's what I've always heard. All right. Look, just die. Warpainter pumping up upgrade your random skills, and before that, Hideous Laughter, Dervish Dance. Deal 9 damage to all enemies for each attack you have queued. Ridiculous for aggression. Sure, we're taking that. We'll taking that. Good work, Ryan. You goddamn moron. Upgrade all cards you can only heal. We don't really need our cards upgraded. But I also don't think that's too bad of a downside for us right now. But we don't need our cards upgraded, so it'd be daft to do. Runic Icosahedron rolls natural 1. Yeah, there we go. Natural 1, you are cursed. You may no longer roll the Icosahedron, and natural 1, when this card is drawn, lose 1 energy, and it's soulbound, so it cannot be removed from the deck. It's only fair that I got that effect, frankly. Kinda did deserve it. Oh, that was Dervish! It's my bad. I thought that was thick of the fight. Kind of the similar style on the drawing got me. Or rather, similar coloration as well as 2 cost, as well as having 2 notes. 2 aggressive notes in particular. I was like, yeah, this is definitely the card I'm looking for. Natural 1 at the very least. I will only ever draw once per combat, but it will always take space up in my hand, so, you know. Swings and roundabouts. Positive and negative there. Okay, I get to play out the rest of these attacks. Neat. Discard all non-attack cards. Yeah. Happy. It seems like this is doing too much damage. I guess when I'm stacking double damage from Pure Nail as well as Inspiration, things get nutty. I'm not saying too much damage is in like a balance type of thing. I'm saying too much damage is in like, I wasn't accounting for all of the modifiers we had on our attack. Bestow Curse, this was another thing that Leelof had access to. Leelof being the character I was talking about before, my D&D character. Or rather, my most recent D&D bard. Bestow Curse, enemies lose 7 HP at the start of each of its turns. Like, yeah, but not for this deck. I really like how this deck is going so far. I don't think it's time to continue modifying it at all. Alright. I'm gonna look for it. Ooh, shifting. Deal 12 damage or gain 12 block. Deal 12 damage or gain 12 block. Upgrades to be 16. So it's either 32 damage or 16 damage, 16 block, or 32 block. Does it give you the options, or is it random? I suspect it gives you the option, otherwise it's really bad. I kind of want to take it just to check. But it doesn't queue an attack, and that's exactly what I was looking for, exclusively to queue an attack here. Science matters more. Cool. Yep, you choose. And it's a lot of damage. I really should have inspired before I did that. Prismatic gives us Merchant's Hands. Deal 12 damage. If this kills a non-minion enemy, gain 8 gold. So it's kind of like Hand of Greed, but a lower tier version. Decent damage. Dervish Dance. Powered Stun. Rest. Remove all rests. Rests can be queued. So we actually haven't even seen anything that queues rests yet. But you can remove all rest from your note queue in order to heal 3 for each rest removed. Silence. Yeah, we've seen the rest of those. The Courier, the merchant, restocks cards, relics, and potions. All prices increased by 20%. Sure. We probably want to duck over to that guaranteed merchant then. Okay, so the Courier has ended up similarly hanging out over there. Lingering Echo, Thick of the Fight seems good, because it is. Ah, it hit the same target twice! It can do that. Haha. Glad to have that proven. Potato, during your turn, you're immune to damage. As is customary, every single time this relic comes up, I would like people to know that, that this is based on an idea that I had. Yeah. And shared in the unsupported modding Discord. Well, it was unsupported modding at the time, now it's supported modding. I think it's just called modding. Locate object. Yeah, this is something that queues a rest. Put 1 card from your draw pile into your hand. Queue a rest, exhaustive 2. Costs 0 to do, right? So, really good effects, gives you a rest. It kind of seems akin to, like, cards that would give you statuses in the Ironclad. Raise your maximum hand size by 2 is really, really good. Definitely a good idea here. None of the rest of these are new. Cool. We'll take the slimy hat. My apologies. We're going to be taking the singing ball! Look, it is named that. In my defense, it's named that. Choral orchestra. Bard, every 5th melody you perform is performed twice. That's really powerful. But I think I'll just take the Orichalcum because I oftentimes don't defend. There's also Metronome here. Increases strength for each sequential attack played, up to a maximum of 10. Playing a non-attack card or losing HP resets the bonus to 0. I didn't even know that it actually had a modded description as well. Staple of pre-Spire Blight Life. I want to look at the descriptions for these as well. Stay in tune. Not if I can help it. Your trusty instrument and weapon. The pure nail crafted to perfection. You are your own worst enemy in the sphere of dissonance. And slimy hat is... This would be a really nice hat if it wasn't covered in slime. Is that not a description of an item in West of Loathing? I think it is. West of Loathing was a really good game. I highly recommend it. If you haven't played West of Loathing, especially if you played the old Kingdom of Loathing, get into West of Loathing. Oh, very good. Yeah, just invisibility, I guess. Not that it matters. 0 golds? Yeah, I'll take the red mask, thank you very much. Winding halls. As you slowly make your way up twisting pathways, you constantly find yourself... Constantly. I thought it was going to say consistently, so I started trying to say consistently, and then I was like, wait a second. No, course correct on this word, and no, I didn't course correct well enough. I'm just going to lose the max HP here, frankly. Nate. All right, Time Eater, let's go. $42. Good stuff right there. I'm not going to riposte here because I do want the currently queued buff to allow me to pick up later another point of strength. Yeah. 39 incoming, that's rough. Ooh, okay. We'll thick of the fight, attack up. Then I'm going to flourish with buff and finally play riposte. I don't even need to defend this turn, right? It just goes against my buffer anyway. Just lingering echo. And then I'll take my extra attack up. My goal now is just get Dervish Dance to be ridiculous. Natural 1 is unfortunate, but hey, I didn't even have space in the hand to do anything else, so... Works for me. Sever Soul is so good here! Get that, get all those garbage cards out of my hand. And... I actually have enough energy to play Dervish Dance now. That's ridiculous. All right. Boom. Got him. To thump. To thump. And just one more to thump right back at you, mon frere. That, I think, was a pretty good showing for our first time on a new character. It does feel nice to play a new character, even one that I had tested off screen, because I did test Disciple off screen, that I don't lose for the first 50 episodes with. I was garbage at Disciple, and I still feel bad about that, but our time with the Bard is only just beginning. For the moment, my name is Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Slay the Spire. The mods that we have been running have been Bard and Hubris, that is to say, the mods that we've been running in the rotation. The other mods, of course, being Always Whale, Colored Map, Relics, Sorted, and Unknown Chance. Always Whale by Modern Canon. Colored Map by T Races and T Larson. Time Races and T Larson, sorry. Blank the Evil for Relics Sorter, Time Races for Unknown Chances, and Bard and Hubris by Kyot, as well as base mod with Kyot and Test 44/7 and STS Lib Kyot. This is a Kyot heavy kind of mod list at the moment. There's a link in the description down below for all of the mods played in this series, past, present, and future, linked in the Steam Store Workshop collection in the description down below. That sentence was very tautological. It was repetitive. It said the same thing again and again and again in a little bit of a different way, but it didn't necessarily bring anything new to the table with the new words that it said. Much like that one. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.